How's it going, guys? Girls, hope you guys on a great week. So it is that time of the month again, guys. It is time to talk about some of the biggest games coming out this month. There were a lot of really good looking games coming out this month, so it was really hard to narrow down this list. But here are the top 7 game releases coming out in September 2021. Kicking us off at number 1 is Life is Strange True Colors. This is an upcoming graphic adventure video game developed by Deck 9 and published by Square Enix. It is actually the 5th installment in the Life is Strange series and the 3rd mainline game, succeeding Life is Strange 2, which I haven't played but I heard was really good. The plot of True Colors focuses around Alex Chen, a young woman who can experience the emotions of others as she tries to solve the mystery behind her brother's death. Along the way, Alex meets many citizens of Colorado's picturesque mountain town of Haven Springs, including 2 potential love interests, Ryan and Steph, who many will recognize from the Life is Strange Before the Storm series. Alex has psychic empathy powers or abilities that allow her to read and manipulate the emotions of others, which she perceives as colorful auras, hence the title True Colors. She can see these physically around other people and can actually affect them herself at the cost of being affected by their emotions herself. Life is Strange True Colors looks really beautiful. I have played the original Life is Strange and I also did play Before the Storm, but I didn't get to play Life is Strange 2. But if it's anything like those games, I'm sure, definitely there will be interest here, because usually those games revolve around some kind of supernatural abilities and there's a lot of mystery and intrigue and different characters that you can interact with. So if you enjoyed the original Life is Strange games, I'm sure this game will be right up your street. For those that are interested, Life is Strange True Colors is coming out on the 10th of September and it will be releasing on the PC, Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 4 and 5, Xbox One, Xbox Series X and S, and also Stadia. The second game coming out this month is Tales of Arise. This is an upcoming action RPG game developed and published by Bandai Namco. It's actually the 17th mainline entry in the Tales series. I actually haven't played any of the Tales games, but my friend Edge is a massive fan of the Tales games, and I know this is probably one of his most highly anticipated games of this year. And up until me playing the demo, I was interested, but having played the demo, I'm even more interested in Tales of Arise. Arise takes place in a setting which is divided between the medieval world of Dana and the advanced world of Rena. So the world is basically kind of split between these two regions. There's sort of a tension between these regions, and they're kind of sort of a civil war. Rena's superior technological and magical advancement actually causes it to hold power over Dana, taking its resources and treating its people as slaves. The main protagonists are a young man called Alfin, a native to Dana, and a young woman called Shion from Rena, who end up traveling together. They are inevitably joined later by other characters who also hail from both regions. The game looks absolutely gorgeous. There is going to be some changes and additions to the Tales formula, so this game will actually have a huge focus on evading and counterattacks, and unlike many of the previous titles in the series, the game will not feature multiplayer, with the development team deciding to focus instead on the various interactions between characters in combat, including the addition of the boost strike feature, allowing multiple party members to perform destructive attacks together under certain conditions. I actually really enjoyed my experience with the combat. I found it really accessible and really enjoyable. I love the art style. It looks absolutely gorgeous, and I'm actually definitely going to pick this up this month. It's one of the titles that I'm wanting to review, and I'm really looking forward to it. Tales of Arise comes out on the 10th of September, and it will be available on the PC, PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5, Xbox One and Xbox Series X and S. The third game coming out this month is Deathloop. This is an upcoming action-adventure game developed by Arcane Studios and published by Bethesda Softworks. Deathloop has the player assume the role of Colt, an assassin who is stuck in a time loop, waking up on a beach at the island of Black Reef. Colt has been tasked to take out 8 targets across the island before midnight, as leaving even one alive will cause the time loop to reset and undo his work. Colt retains his memories from each loop, learning the behaviors and patterns of the partygoers with each loop. The player uses a combination of stealth, parkour, attack skills, gadgets, and powers, just like Arcane's previous titles Dishonored and Prey, to move about the game world, avoid or take out guards, and learn the patterns of Colt's targets to figure out the best way to eliminate each target through a wide variety of options. The game also features a multiplayer aspect in which the player can alternatively take the role of Juliana, an agent tasked to protect the time loop and take out Colt. When the player takes this role, they will enter a random player's game and may interfere with their play. The multiplayer portion of the game is entirely optional, and players can prevent others from taking on the role of Juliana in their own game, instead leaving this to a computer-controlled opponent to try to stop Colt. Deathloop is definitely something that's been featured a lot. I'm a huge fan of Arcane's previous titles. I really enjoyed Dishonored. I really enjoyed the freedom that you had and the sort of mystical, magical powers that you got, as well as the gadgets and the parkour and the stealth elements of it. You could choose to go in guns blazing, you can choose to approach things in a stealth-like manner, and I definitely think the game will give you that freedom and that choice. So if you're a fan of, Dishonored and some of Arcane's previous titles, then this may well be a game that you'll be interested to pick up. Deathloop is coming out on the 14th of September, and it will be available on the PC and PlayStation 5. The fourth big game coming out this month is Kenneth Bridge of Spirits. This is an upcoming action-adventure indie game developed and published by Ember Lab. This game is probably one of my most anticipated titles coming out, especially this month, but not only this month, but this year. The game looks absolutely gorgeous. I love the art style of it. It looks beautiful, and the story itself sounds really interesting. It actually follows Kenna, a young spirit guide who uses her magical abilities to help deceased people move from the physical world to the spirit world. As a spirit guide, Kenna tries to understand their difficulties and help them to find closure and to move on. Kenna also has a scar from her hand to her shoulder, which apparently represents a traumatic experience with her father that will be explored in the game. In terms of combat, the player uses Kenna's staff for light, heavy, and charged attacks. An upgraded form of the staff also transforms into a pretty sweet looking bow. When defending against enemies, the player can also activate Kenna's pulse ability, which acts as a shield and as a health meter that depletes when attacked. It also serves to provide clues and activate objects. The player is also tasked with collecting small spirit companions, which are adorable and also known as the Rot. They can be directed to complete tasks such as moving objects, taking certain shapes, or distracting enemies. They remind me heavily of Pikmin, or a little bit of the familiars that you could collect in Ni no Kuni. Kenneth Bridge of Spirits looks so beautiful. It looks absolutely gorgeous, and it's definitely a must buy and a must play for me this month, and I will also absolutely be reviewing this game without a doubt. Kenneth Bridge of Spirits is set to come out on the 21st of September, and it will be available on the PC, PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5. Coming in at number 5 is Sable. Sable is an upcoming open-world exploration game developed by Shedworks and published by Raw Fury. In the game, players take on the role of a young girl called Sable, who spends the game searching for a fitting rite of passage mask so that she can return to her nomadic clan. The game has no combat or set storyline, and it actually emphasizes simple puzzle solving and discovery, traversing sand dunes and ruins. You can explore these dunes on your your hover bike, scale monumental ruins, and encounter other nomads as you unearth mysteries long forgotten and discover who Sable really is behind her mask. With its unique art style and original soundtrack by Japanese Breakfast, players can envelop themselves in Sable's world and explore everything at their own pace. This game is definitely giving me vibes of Journey, so it very much is a very chilled experience of just exploring and immersing yourself in this world. I'm sure it's going to have an absolutely gorgeous soundtrack as well, and it just looks really, really interesting. If you are interested in Sable, it is coming out on the 23rd of September and it will be releasing on the PC, Xbox One, Xbox Series X and S. The sixth game coming out this month is Lost Judgement. Lost Judgement is an upcoming action-adventure video game developed by Ryuga Gotoku Studio and published by Sega. Of course, that's the team behind the Yakuza series, and Lost Judgement is a sequel to 2018's Judgement, which was kind of like a Yakuza spin-off title. The game focuses again on private detective Takayuki Yagami as he investigates a criminal accused of both sexual harassment and murder. The game is set in December 2021, 3 days after Akiro Ehara is accused of sexual harassment. A dead body is found in Yokohama's Ijincho district, and his defense lawyer Saori Shirosaki calls on the private detective to help investigate Ahara's involvement. Yagami's investigations will take place across Kamurocho and Ijincho, and it will of course still employ the same kind of game mechanics from Judgement. So the action combat is still there. Yagami can still switch between 3 fighting styles in battle, other than the crowd control crane style and the one-to-one tiger style from the original Judgement. Yagami also is now able to use the newly added snake style for counterattacks against armed enemies. The game will retain the action sequences from the first game that made it so popular, but further development has actually gone into the stealth elements, which have been heavily revised and streamlined, as this was one of the weakest areas in Judgement. If you really enjoyed Judgement, then I definitely think Lost Judgement will be right up your street. If you're a fan of the Yakuza series as well, you're probably going to enjoy the style and over-the-top nature of this game. But usually the Yakuza series and Judgement had incredible voice acting, incredible acting, and which is a really, really good story. So it is a game I'm very much interested in, and Lost Judgement is coming out on the 24th of September, and it will be releasing on the PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Xbox One, and Xbox Series X and S. And finally, the 7th game coming out this month is Away the Survival series. This is an upcoming indie action-adventure game developed and published by Canadian studio Breaking Walls. In this story-driven adventure set in a distant future, you play as a young sugar glider as he embarks on a perilous journey through the wilderness to save his family. You'll be able to explore on the ground and by air, glide your way through lush forests as you tread between branches. Of course, you will have to dodge and barrel roll to avoid trouble, and there will be hunters that will be, very much hunting you down. But this game is really unique because it kind of plays like a nature documentary. As you navigate this living, breathing world, your adventures will be narrated just like your favorite nature documentaries. The development team spent a lot of time researching various flora and fauna to ensure all the information shared by the narrator is accurate. Players can learn about the plants and animals inhabiting each strange new ecosystem as they explore the diverse terrain. Away the Survival series is like nothing I've seen. It looks really, really interesting. And if you're interested in just quirky indie games that try something different, try something new, then I definitely think this game will be right up your street. Away the Survival series is set for release on the 28th of September, and it will be coming out on the PC, PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5. So there you have it, guys. Those are just some of the big releases coming out in September 2021. Are there any on this list that you will be definitely picking up this month? Are there any that you think I haven't mentioned that you'd like to talk about and share? Please share that in the comment section below. Hope you guys found this video interesting, useful and informative. October is obviously coming up as well, and there are a lot of big games coming out in October, so I'll be back again next month to talk about those big titles coming out. But September, guys, there's so much good gaming experiences coming out this month, so yeah, it should be a lot of fun. But anyway, hope you guys have a great week, of course. Take care, and as always, happy gaming. Bye guys.